Let me read to you a passage from the 13th chapter of St. Matthew's Gospel, verses 36 to 43. It's the Gospel for Tuesday of the 17th week in Ordinary Time. St. Matthew writes, "Then Jesus left the crowd and went into the house. His disciples came to him and said, 'Explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field.' He answered, 'The one who sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed stands for the sons of the kingdom. The weeds are the sons of the evil one, and the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels. As the weeds are pulled up and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil. They will throw them into the fiery furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. He who has ears, let him hear." That's from Matthew chapter 13, verses 36 to 43. It tells us about the fundamentals. What do I mean? Well, let me begin by giving a couple of examples. You know, one of the most impressive of the English Catholic community during the 17th and 18th centuries, that is to say, between Elizabeth's outlawing of Catholicism to the Catholic emancipation of 1829, was Richard Challoner, who lived from 1691 to 1781. He was Catholic bishop for the London district, first and for many years the coadjutor bishop, became that in 1741, and then he was vicar apostolic. That was the name of the bishop, the title, the office he had, vicar apostolic in his own right till his death, vicar apostolic of the London district. He was an outstanding bishop in a century very difficult for the Catholic people of England. He was diligent, prayerful, and remarkable as an author of numerous works of spirituality, doctrine, and apologetics. His new translation of the Bible, based on the Douay Bible, remained the foundation of further Catholic translations for more than 150 years. Now, in his many published works, Challoner was not distinguished by originality of mind, but in his care at passing on in comprehensive fashion the riches of Catholic doctrine and thought. He did magnificent work, and his cause for canonization is being prayed for. The following century, the 19th century, was marked by several English Catholic luminaries, the greatest scholarly mind among them being John Henry Newman, who lived from 1801 to 1890. Newman was born 20 years after Challoner died, and like Challoner himself was a convert to Catholicism. Challoner converted as a boy, at age 13, with his mother, whereas Newman converted to Catholicism at the age of nearly 45, after a distinguished career as a high church Anglican theologian and writer. Newman was a more voluminous writer than Challoner, and what marked his work was originality. He was as committed to fidelity to reveal truth as Challoner, but he strove to throw new light on impasses associated with its reception, the reception of revelation. Now, I mention and contrast these two great men of the Church in order to bring out something fundamental that was common to both of them. Despite their differing intellectual characteristics, each kept before them and represented in their public persona the great and broad truths of revelation. These simple truths that our Lord presents, He presents in our gospel today. What are they? They are the coming judgment on each of us, and then heaven, hell, and eternity. I mention those two examples to make the point that whatever be our gifts or lack of them, the doctrine revealed by Jesus Christ is able to be apprehended and realized by all, provided there is the gift of faith. Whatever be our calling or profession, we just must take these broad and fundamental truths to heart. Our Lord tells them in the form of his parable, and then he gives his explanation. The explanation in that passage I read earlier. As the weeds are pulled up and burnt on the fire, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil. They will throw them into the fiery furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. He who has ears, let him hear. As Newman writes at the end of one of his greatest works, which was the development of Christian doctrine, life is short and eternity long. That's one broad basic truth that we must keep in mind. When we come to the end, it will seem that life has been very short, and we shall wonder what we have to show for it. By this I mean, what will we have to show God for it? God who is our judge. That is all that will matter, because every moment by moment, we are inexorably heading towards this judgment. It is inescapable. We are answering the questions now on the exam paper, which will then be judged. The answers are going on to the book, and that book will be opened at the judgment. Every day, this very day we are now living now, is the paper on which we are writing. To use the imagery our Lord uses in his parable, we are becoming the weeds. Are we becoming the weeds that will be pulled up and thrown onto the fire? Or are we the good seed? There is but one upshot to our lives, and that is the judgment of God. Now that is a broad and simple fact, which all of us must keep before us, as did Challoner and Newman, however different they were in cast of mind and in written work. Beyond the judgment, there is life or death, heaven or hell, salvation or damnation. If a person forgets these certainties that are before him, certainties because they are revealed by Christ, then he is far more to be pitied than one who is far less gifted than he, but who lives in these truths. Let us never miss the wood for the trees. As I heard one very good priest once say, you do not have to have a doctorate to be a very good teacher of religion. This is because the important thing is to know, appreciate and realize, and then pass on the fundamental truths revealed by Jesus Christ with such luminous clarity. These truths take us to heaven if we live by them. Truths? Well, rather, they are the truth which is the person of Jesus Christ. He who is the way, the truth, and the life.